Erica. Cause you're a sky full of stars. I'm gonna give you my heart. Cause you're a sky full of stars. Cause you light up the path. I don't care, I wanna tear me apart. I don't care if you do. Cause in the sky, full of stars. It's all you. Cause you're a sky full of stars. I wanna die in your arms. Oh, you can light the morning gets dark. I wanna give you my heart. Oh, I don't care, I wanna tear me apart. I don't care if you do. Cause in the sky full of stars, we can see you. Feel like the world don't love you, they only wanna push you away. Some days people don't see you, you feel like you're in the way. Today you feel as if everyone hates, and they're looking at your mistakes. You do good, they want great. No matter what you give, they still wanna take. You give your love and they still it back. You give your heart, they go on attack. When there's nothing left for you, only thing that you can do is today, live like a wanna. Let yesterday burn and go in the fire, in the fire, in the fire. Fight like a warrior. Today, live like a wanna. Let yesterday burn and go in the fire, in the fire, in the fire. Live like a warrior.
Hey everybody, I'm gonna turn the music off. Hello everyone. Good morning everyone. Good morning Carol. Good morning Leah. Good to see you Allison. Hey Terry. Good morning beautiful people. Let's see who's joining us. Mary, good to see you. Hey Mary. Hey Jackie. Let's see, I just want to say hi to everyone real quick. Hey Tricia. Hey Carol. Wendy's with us. Hey Wendy. Awesome. Hey Colette. Hey Ellen. What's happening? Hey Stacia. Let's see. Who else is here? Awesome. We got 30 people already. Margaret. Hey Margaret. Good to see you all. Is Wade with us? I think Wade is with us. Awesome. Patty, good to see you. Hey, Sylvia. All right. Hey, Dan. More and more people are joining. So if I didn't mention your name, I'm sorry. But Tara, good to see you. Awesome. I'm going to delve right in because I'm super excited about today's topic. But I just want to share that unfortunately, Allison cannot be with us today. She's supporting a superintendent right now. She's supporting someone else. So it's just me. Hopefully, I'll be good enough. We'll see. But I think it'll be good. I just want to share that I just like the first day, yesterday's webinar was so much fun for both of us, for Ali and I, and we felt such energy from all of you. So I absolutely love connecting with you all. Thanks for getting on these calls. Before we delve into today's topic, I just want to give you a quick reminder that every day on a daily basis, as this situation unfolds, and even further, like for months, we're going to be giving daily, just pushing out daily resources through social media. And so if you want to get them, again, I'm going to put my Twitter handle, my Instagram name on the chat, and you can just follow us and get those resources. And then also, if you have additional questions, don't hesitate at all to email me, to email us at info@eqschools, or to connect with us. Just go to eqschools.com/connect. Allison, I think it's awesome you're joining from Michigan. Right on. So I absolutely love today's topic. And today's topic is all about the power of positive emotions. Now, I think what's interesting is that I imagine that especially during these times, some people might think like, Ronnie, like, why do you choose this topic of positive emotions for your webinar, especially during such difficult times? You're like so out of touch with the suffering that people are experiencing. Why are you bringing up positive emotions? And my answer to that is actually very simple. Positive emotions are actually a protective factor when dealing with adversity. And people who set the intention to experience more positive emotions actually become more resilient. And the claim that I just made is backed by countless of research studies. And the leading researcher in this field is Barbara Fredrickson, who's a positive psychologist from the University of North Carolina. And I'd like to actually read you two short excerpts from the study that she published about 20 years ago in 2000. So in that study, she says, one way people experience positive emotions in the face of adversity is by finding positive meaning in ordinary events and within the adversity itself. So as we think about, the situation that we're in right now and the adversity that our nations face, that the world is facing and that we're facing on a daily basis, I want to give you like two things that I do, just kind of a window a little bit into my life. So I'm lucky enough to have a backyard. And what I like to do, actually just to experience positive emotions with ordinary things, is I actually like to go into my backyard and just check out trees and like appreciate each tree in my backyard differently every day. So just go out there and just make the intention to appreciate that tree. It's a little bit weird. I know it's like, I live in Santa Cruz, so some people might consider me a tree huggy hippie and stuff, and I get that, but it makes a big difference for me. Now, I also want to say this, that when she talks about people finding positive emotions even with the adversity itself, I want to just be totally honest with you all and let you know that like I'm running these webinars, obviously, like I'm loving these webinars. I'm running them because it gives me such joy to give to people and to connect with people. It's just so much fun for me. And so, and so meaningful. So for me, like I decided to take this, usually I speak to people. I usually present in person and I love presenting in person. And honestly, like to be totally vulnerable and frank with you, it kind of dawned on, like it felt daunting to me to begin to do more things online, with this coronavirus thing. And I was like, because like, I don't feel like as, like from in front of a computer, it's not as like, like close to the human touch for me. But I just made the decision and I was like, look, like, it's not even about me. Like, I just want to give. And by giving, it just makes me feel good. Now, the coolest thing about the research study, in my opinion, is what I'm about to read to you. So check this out. This blew my mind, okay? It is important to note that the relation between positive meaning and positive emotions is considered reciprocal, meaning that not only does finding positive meaning trigger positive emotions, but also positive emotions, because they broaden thinking, should increase the likelihood in finding positive meaning in subsequent events. Meaning that when people experience positive emotion, if you set the intention to decide, okay, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z in order to experience more positive emotions in me, you are a lot more likely to not only experience more meaning, but to also experience more resilience. And that blows my mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to the study just to show you that I'm not like, this is not coming out of my ass, this is like really true. It's from a study, okay? And you can check it out. So like, just click on it and read it if you want. But also, one thing that I want to cover real quick with you before we delve into the how and how do we get the experience more of that is explain Barbara Fredrickson's broaden and build theory. When Barbara Fredrickson says that positive emotions broaden our theory, are brought in our mindset, I'm sorry, what she means is that our brains actually are able to become more open to possibilities and are able to see the bigger picture more easily. And when our brains are, when that happens with our brains, then we're able to actually build skills on top of it. So let me explain this point by actually doing the opposite. Let's take a difficult emotion. Let's, for example, take fear, which, hey, let's face it, many of us are in these days, okay? So think of fear. When you're afraid of something, your mindset narrows and constricts. It narrows on that specific thing that you're afraid of. You fully focus on that thing. And when you fully focus on it, you can feel even more difficult emotions, which actually can make you narrow on it even more. And you can create the cycle of narrowness, constriction, narrowness, constriction. So you basically are kind of getting into this vicious loop. Positive emotions actually can break that cycle. What they do is they broaden our mindset, and they actually remind us, for example, to not take life so seriously. And furthermore, when people are elicited with positive emotions, and she showed this with quantitative data, it was unbelievable to me. When they're elicited with positive emotions, they can become not only more creative, but they become more collaborative. They're willing to basically listen to other people's opinion more readily. So I want to do one final thing before I delve into like the how of this of positive emotions, or how do we experience more of it, and that is to talk about positive emotions in the context of learning, because we're all educators, we're all leaders on this call, and we all have, I mean, not all of us necessarily, but many of us have kids at home who we need to help teach and learn these days. You know, there's a Finnish saying, a saying from Finland. Those things learned without joy are soon forgotten. And I think that's so true. You know, I'll read it again. Those things learned without joy are soon forgotten. The truth is that we learn so much more effectively when it's fun and when it's joyful. And it's also true that a lot of executive functions in the brain is actually developed through play. So if you think about it, positive emotions, in effect, are not only good for our wellness, our emotional and psychological well-being, they actually prime ourselves, they prime our brain and our kids' brains to be more ready to learn. And so when I, for example, do a training, right, at a school or something like that, I actually train the educators and also the leaders to say, like, look, kids come to your classes in a whole bunch of different places. Some kids just saw their parents fight. Another kid didn't have breakfast. Another kid just had, you know, their homework chewed by their dog or whatever. And they're coming from a bunch of different places, right? And so, like, if you just start teaching right away, the kids are not necessarily with you, you know? But if we take a moment to bring them together and to play an improv game, for example, and then to actually experience emotional resonance and positive emotions together, not only do games put us in like the present moment right away, they also bring vulnerability to the surface in a safe way, and they bring us all together. And it's much easier then to teach kids. It's much easier then to get into creative projects or whatever, because kids themselves are going to be more creative. So you can absolutely take that also into your work with your own kids at home, you know, this week, or not just this week, but for the foreseeable future, unfortunately. So one thing that I want to put out there is that we don't, because the truth is, here's the thing, we don't actually have choice about whether or not we're going to be in this circumstance. You know, this coronavirus thing is it's a pain, it's difficult, but what we do have choice over is how we choose to face it. And so one question I'd love for you to consider before we delve into the how of positive emotions is, as you work with your own kids at home and you teach your own kids and you teach your students at school, what is the most joyful way to get to your goal? What is the most joyful, most fun, most pleasurable way that you can get to your goal, whether it's academic, whether it's whatever it is? I think there's real power in asking that question, even asking the question of how could it be easy? How could this be easy? So, how do we intentionally experience positive emotions? And I'm gonna, like, look, there's a million ways of doing it, but I want to focus on 4 main things, maybe even a 5th, but we'll start with 4. The first, very simple and very powerful way to experience positive emotions is to decide to give to others. So I want to ask you this today: what can you do to lift someone else up? And you know, it's interesting because sometimes, almost always, the gift of time is the most precious. So even think back to what we did yesterday. Who in your life, really think about this for, let's take 20 seconds even, who in your life can you decide today that you're going to be present with at a 10 out of 10? And when you give them that presence at a 10 out of 10 and that time, that immediately will lift them up, immediately help them. And so just take a moment right now and think about who that is in your life. You could be picking up the phone and calling your mother, picking up the phone, calling your dad, picking up the phone, calling a friend. It could be someone in your house. Who is it that you want to uplift today? So let's just take a moment to think. And as you are looking for that person or thinking about this person, I want to ask you a very simple question. Do you commit to uplifting them up today? Is it something that you're willing to commit to? Now, if the answer is no, that's totally okay. That you're not a bad person or anything like that. I don't have any judgments. But I'm just wondering, like, all right, if not, then why not? Just ask yourself, maybe you need a little more space for yourself. Maybe you need something for you. And that's okay as well. But really just kind of ask yourself, hey, how can I provide for someone, give to someone else? All right. So the next thing you can do is to intentionally decide, I'm going to take some time to play games. It could be board games. It can be improv games. You know, improv games are incredibly powerful to connect people together and to experience fun and joy and emotional, you know, just connection. And one thing I want to do is that I'm going to put a link on the chat to our video page. Our video page has a number of videos that show how improv games work. They show how it work in the classroom, but of course you can use them with your kids at home as well. And if you want even more of these games, then you just click on the Show Me More button, and it'll take you to our online video library page, and then you can decide, you know, whether you want to get into it or not. But it has, like, you know, just a ton of videos that have all these different resources and these improv games. So let me just put this up, and then if you guys, so it's eqschools.com/videos, you guys can click on that and see. All right, the next thing is, believe it or not, to experience positive emotions right away is to dance. Just make the decision today, I'm gonna dance. Even if I'm gonna dance for like 3 minutes, I'm freaking going to dance. And the reason dancing is so powerful is because when we move our bodies, that puts us immediately in the present moment right away. And it even connects us to the wisdom that comes from the neck down. It's so powerful. And then the last thing I'm going to say that can really provide us with a lot of just positive emotions right away is expressing gratitude, and not just expressing gratitude for what we have in our life, but also journaling about it. So there's research to show that when people journal about 3 things they feel grateful for consistently every day, when they journal about it, that actually raises their base level of happiness, and it's easier for them to become grateful the more they do this. It's easier for them to find things they feel grateful for in the future because they're training their brain to be able to find that easily. So what I'd love to do is get into 2 exercises. Hopefully we'll have time for 2 of them. But we're going to start with this first one. And this first one is actually an improv game that I teach people. I teach educators. I teach leaders when I'm presenting. And it's called the signature game. All right. And so instead of just talking about play, let's play. You know what I'm saying? So here's what we're going to do. I'd love for you to take one of your fingers, okay? And beautiful. And what you're going to do is you're going to take that finger and you're going to basically write your signature right in front of you as if you had like a piece of paper. So for me, it would be like, there's like a, Ronnie's an I at the end. So just, boom. Perfect. Nice. I love it. Cool. I love seeing your signatures. Now what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that you have just a bigger, it's not a page anymore. It's a canvas that's a little bit bigger, right? So I want you to imagine that now all of a sudden, instead of just a finger, like you're going to use your arm to do your signature. So for me, it'd be like, nice, awesome, cool. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to first pull you up to my desk over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do our signature, okay? But we're going to do it with both of our arms, okay? So if you need to stand up like I'm standing up, go for it. Feel free. If you want to still sit, that's okay. But there you go. Perfect. I love it. Good stuff. Good stuff, Jacqueline. Good stuff, Leah. All right, we're going to take both of our hands and we're going to do our signature with both of our hands. So it looks like this for me. Nice, very good, awesome, cool. So now what we're gonna do is in a moment, I'm gonna show you the next part of this game. And I just wanna share that I'm about to share something that feels kind of vulnerable for me. And usually when I do things that are vulnerable for me, that I'm worried that might make me look stupid, I want to tell you about a trick that I do in my head. I just basically say to myself, instead of, when that itty bitty shitty committee comes in and tells me I'm stupid, my inner critic, I basically tell myself, I just change one word in that sentence. Instead of like, I'm so stupid, I just change it to, I'm so sexy. And then it's great because it makes things way easier. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to worry about it as much. So I just go for it, And it's kind of cool because it actually allows me to take more risks. It's all in my head though. Okay. I don't share with anyone except I just shared it with like 50 people right now. But hey, so what the next variation of this game is this. We're going to do our signature. Okay. But we're first going to do it with our hips. Okay. Now I'm going to demonstrate, how mine looks like. And the cool thing about Zoom is that if you really want to, you can turn off your video, but I much prefer that you keep your video here because I want to feel you together with me. Okay. So here's my signature with my hips. Hold on one second. Check this out. All right. So here's my signature with my hips. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm going to go for it. It's then this, because there's an I at the end. You know what I mean? There's an I at the end. So I just did that. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're all going to do our signature with our hip. You guys ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and go. Signature with your hip. Signature with your hip. Yeah. Nice. All right, now what we're going to do is this. I'm going to be playing some music in a moment, all right? And we're going to do our signature 3 times. We're going to do it with our hips, and we're going to do it with both of our hands. We're going to do it 3 times, and then we're just going to dance. But the way it's going to work is I'm going to play the music. We're going to clap it out a little bit. Then I'm going to tell you when to do your signature with your hands and with your hips. And then we're going to dance, and then we're going to bring it back together. So let's get ready to boogie. 1 second. We are going to bring the house down, folks. It's going to be amazing. One moment. Let me just see. Let's get to 22. All right. Y'all ready? Hold on 1 second. Let me do this. Let me do that. All right. Let me just see. Here we go. Here we go. Love it. Here we go. Let's do our signature. Here we go, guys. Keep going, keep going. Everybody dance, 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 dance. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. Oh yeah. Y'all look beautiful. Keep going, keep going. Y'all look amazing. Here we go. Let's twirl. Another side. Hey. Louder. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Oh yeah. Come on. Okay, ready? Here we go, here we go. Yeah. Woo! Woo! Give yourself a hand, give yourself a hand. Woo, 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 woo. Whoa, this was fun. This was awesome. I'm like sweating here. And have a seat and give yourself some of a hand. Woo! Beautiful. That was awesome. Y'all are so beautiful. I love it. Woo! And now just like notice, feel your energy. Just notice where you're at. I just, even just right now, I love seeing your smiles and I like, whew, feeling such energy within me, you know? So thank you for that. That was really fun to dance with y'all. And I'm telling you, like, especially during these times, I'm setting an intention that once a week, at least once a week, if not once a day, I'm gonna be dancing every single, like, and as you saw, I'm not necessarily the best dancer. Like my brother calls me octopus dance, but hey, you know what? It's all good. Because I'm just gonna dance, like, because it makes a huge difference for me. And actually I'm noticing even right now that as I'm doing it, and as I'm sitting down with it, I'm just noticing like, just how much I'm feeling more hopeful. You know, how much I'm feeling more hopeful about the fact that we can be in a world right now where we can still get on Zoom and still connect and have, you know, 45 people dance together. We freaked 5 people out, but that's all right. You know what I mean? Because we're awesome. So the last thing I wanted to do with y'all today is to actually take some time to just journal for a moment about 3 things we're grateful for. And it could be 3 people we're grateful for. It could be 3 things you're grateful for. And as you journal about these things and you think about who you're grateful for or who or what you're grateful for, I want you to really allow yourself to slow down and allow you to just allow that gratitude to fill you up with joy. Mindy, I love that your kids are proud of you for attempting the dab. I think that's awesome. I love it. That's so awesome. Bethany, you're so welcome. You're amazing. So, yeah, let's just take a moment and slow ourselves down and just notice, what are we grateful for? Who are we grateful for? And it can be very simple too. Like, I'm grateful for having a body that allows me to dance. Frankly, not everyone has it, you know, like I have 2 feet that allow me to walk from place to place, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for you all. Let's just take a moment and really sink into that. And as you take a deep breath in, I just invite you to just really see if you can just sink into that joy of having that in your life. Having that person or having that thing. Yeah, grateful for waking and feeling fresh air. Absolutely. Yeah, just grateful for basic stuff. I love it, Trisha. Like food, you know. Yeah, and if you're open to it, go ahead and put in the chat what you're grateful for, so we can all see what we're all grateful for one another, and for what we're grateful for in our life. And as you put it in the chat, I want to share a quick story with you all that often comes to me when I do this exercise of thinking who I'm grateful for. Yeah, and Wendy, I can absolutely give you advice on how to talk to your students about this for sure. I think we're going to do that. I don't have necessarily the time now, but I can do more of that tomorrow. And I'm also going to, I plan on, like I have an intention to continue these things even, you know, next week and the week after that and stuff. So I'm excited about it, and there's a lot more to share. So yeah, go ahead and continue to share what you're grateful for. I want to share a quick story with you all. So a few months ago, I was putting my daughter to bed, Leah, and immediately she told me, Abba, you know, I'm Israeli, so she calls me Abba. She said, Abba, I love you to the moon and back 1,000,000 times. And it was just a moment of like, oh, it just like filled me up, you know? And then like she took a moment and she was quiet. And then she all of a sudden asked me, she's like, Abba, what's bigger, 1,000,000 or infinity? And she's like 6 at the time, you know, she's 6 now. And I'm like, well, infinity is bigger. I didn't want to be like infinity is a limit, but whatever, you know, infinity is bigger. Infinity is bigger than 1,000,000, you know? And then she takes a moment and she thinks, and she's like, yeah, I love mama infinity times to the moon and back. Which I thought was hilarious, you know? So I'm like, so are you saying you love mama more than me? And she's like, yeah, that's, yeah. I thought that was super cute. Really made me giggle and laugh. And even just that, like remembering that, just immediately I can feel myself uplift. So when we actually set the intention to really decide to engage in activities that elicit positive emotions within us and within others, whether it's helping others, whether it's playing games, whether it's dancing, whether it's you know, being grateful for stuff or all the other stuff that we can come up with, it really helps us be more resilient, especially during these difficult times. It was such an honor to reconnect with you all today. Again, check out all the resources that I put up, our video page. I think it has a lot of awesome resources. Oh, also, I'm going to be sending you all like another resource guide that we've created for things you can do with kids at home these days that I think is quite powerful. I'll probably be sending it via email or maybe via social media. I'm not totally sure. Or maybe both. So we'll see. But in any case, most importantly, may you be healthy. May you be happy. May you all be at peace. And I'm so looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow at 11 a.m. for our final webinar of this week, at least. Love you all. Oh, and I want to just unmute everyone so everyone can just say bye to everyone all together. Maybe with like a quick, I like to do whooshes, but for now we can just be like, bye, see you, love you. See you guys, love you.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
You're amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for being with me.
Sending love.
Leah, I love you.
Love you. Bye. See you.
Bye.
Have a wonderful time.
Take care, guys.
Thank
All right.
you.
See you. Take care. Be well. Stay
Thank you.
safe.
You run.
Thank
You.
Bye.
See you all.